welcome to the famed Richmond Raceway in Richmond, Virginia. Of course, the virtual Richmond Raceway on iRacing. It's the NORA Cup Series 2023 Season 5 race 7 of 36, 42 laps. The first stage, 138 second stage, and 240 laps overall we'll be doing here at this incredible short track. 3/4 of a mile, they say, either the longest short track or the shortest speedway. One thing is, it's never short on action. Hello again, race fans. Welcome. I'm Trevor Greenfield, and you're watching VirtualRacing.Network. So great to have you with us as we continue our ongoing coverage of the NORA Cup and Truck Series, as VirtualRacing.Network is, of course, your exclusive home to the NORA Series. You won't want to be anywhere else Monday and Tuesday nights, and last night was a barn burner. If you weren't with us, you need to make sure you check it out. The Truck Series from Texas was insane. About the last 20 laps were just the most incredible shootout. We had all kinds of fun here. We're hoping for something really similar tonight here at Richmond with the Cup Series. Now, of course, last week it was Vincent Arthur who stole the show of both the NORA Truck and Cup Series at the Circuit of the Americas. Will he be able to do the same tonight as we get back to oval racing? That is anyone's question. Let's go ahead and bring you up to speed on the points and where we're at. There you can see on your screen Vincent Arthur leading those points by a substantial margin over Brady Motes. Third to Ronnie Norman, and fourth to Matthew George. Fifth to Brian Powell. So as we get set for this 7th race of the season, we're excited because it's really anybody's race here at this oval instead of watching the Vincent Arthur show from last week at COTA. Maybe it'll be somebody different, or maybe it'll be a chance to relive that same greatness and watch Vincent dominate the show again. We don't really know. But one thing we can tell from the owner points is that Flatline Motorsports is in control of the NORA Cup Series. And 1, 2, and 3, it doesn't take a slide rule to figure out that they are absolutely dominating this championship, but not by a huge margin. Brian Powell Motorsports just 20 points out of this championship. So with that, drivers heading down to qualify. Let's go ahead and throw it down trackside. Pick up the action. There you can see on your screen, John Cottle. He was quite the racer last night, getting up into the top 10. Putting on a heck of a show, chasing down some of the front runners. Will he be in the same position tonight? We wait to find out here at Richmond. So he puts in his first lap, 4th fastest. And just like that, we switch over to Vincent Arthur as he completes his 2nd lap. And he manages to put it at the top of the charts. And just as I say that, Cotto comes back on his 2nd lap, manages to put in the fastest time of all. So I guess you take the camera off and someone else does what they want to do. Matthew Hibbs here for Nightmare Motorsports, putting in his qualifying effort. Racing with that Napa Chevy for Nightmare. See what he can do here so far. Not getting in a qualifying time on that first lap. Will he get one here on this 2nd one? And he moves up to 6th fastest overall. So great time for him. Jump over to Josh Conover, who just begins his fast lap. Come back to that in just a moment. Cody Height rolling across the start-finish line with his first lap. Moves up to 6th fastest, so he pushes Matthew George. Matthew Hibbs out of the way. Cody Height now dropping down to 7th as Cottle, Arthur, and Harper currently sitting atop the charts here at Richmond, getting ready for the NORA Cup Series, race number 7 of the 2023 season. Again, so exciting to be with you. If you want to be here for all the action, of course, you want to subscribe. VirtualRacing.Network, you won't miss any of it. And there, Josh Conover on his very first lap, putting in a 5th fastest time. Will he possibly go higher? Yes, he does. He moves up to 3rd with that lap. So put him in the top 3 to start this one. Ronnie Norman, last week finishing just outside the top 3, taking 4th place. Conover, of course, taking 3rd last week at COTA. Ronnie now qualifying in 4th. So we'll see if Brady Motes, who was very vocal on the YouTube chat last night, which we're hoping we'll see some of that tonight. If you're out there watching, you want to chime in, you want to let us know where you're watching from, we would appreciate that. Brady jumps up tonight for Brian Powell Motorsports. Let us know who you're rooting on. Anything else on your mind? Does it sound good to you out there? We dotting our I's, crossing our T's. And it looks like Hoddle will probably take pole position for this race as we're just coming to the end of qualifying. So congratulations to John Cottle of Harper Motorsports. The fantastic effort there, getting in a pole position style lap and setting the pace for today's race. So with that, we're going to get a chance here in just a moment as, I guess we still have a little bit time left of qualifying. And then we'll get a chance, once it goes official, to give you your official starting grid for today's race. But last week at COTA, as I mentioned, it was all Vincent Arthur. Nobody could really have anything for him. Josh Conover on an alternate fuel strategy that possibly could have put him up there. But really, nobody was a match for the average speed of Vincent Arthur around the Circuit of the Americas. So we look forward to possibly that changing, or somebody being able to challenge him at the future road course race here in NORA. But once we get to the ovals, as I mentioned, it really is up to just about anybody to be able to finish on the podium or win. And certainly a short track is a whole different style of racing. So with that, let's go ahead and jump down to our starting grid for today's race. There you can see it on your screen. John Cottle taking pole position with a 22.106, and that's 6/100ths of a second faster than Vincent Arthur. So around a short track, you'd expect it to maybe be a little bit closer, but a bit of a margin between a lot of these drivers. So Vincent Arthur for flat line going to be starting on the outside, looking in that full tilt brewing machine like he's been before, Baltimore, Maryland. There on the second row, Josh Conover going to be starting alongside of Ronnie Norman, and these two go way back, very good friends. So we'll see what happens heading into turn 1. Timothy Harper going to be starting next to Matthew George. Brandon Dunford will be starting next to Cameron Thompson. Adam Kulikowski will be next to Brady Motes. And Cody Height and Jacob Gladelich next to one another. Matthew Hibbs going to be starting alongside of, my notes there, Engel, but I do not see, there he is, Chad Engel. Michael Robinson and Anthony Mackey. Joshua Curry and Zach Hollinger. And then Nick Geilis will be starting alongside Peyton Tulloch, and that will be the final row of the grid. John Cottle looking so stellar there in that qualifying. And as we get set here for a full evening's worth of racing, I mean, I think one thing is for certain, it's going to be kind of a survivor race, and it really depends on who can manage their tires the best, who can deal with the caution strategy the best. I mean, it's kind of similar to most races, but when you get to a short track, really getting your rhythm going in these long stretches can be key, and the very tight pit entry and pit exit can also be key. That's what we look for tonight. We hope you're set and you've got your favorite beverage in your hand. You're kicked back and ready for a night of fun as NORA is green here at Richmond. Heading down into turn one, it's Cottle who still stays in the lead, but Arthur trying to challenge in that outside lane. Already Conover jumping to the outside, but Vincent Arthur already making his stamp here on Richmond, taking over the lead on lap one. Will we see Cottle in the lead again, or will it just be Arthur out there to parade by himself? That is our question here tonight, but Vincent Arthur already out into that lead. Conover and Ronnie Norman just behind, kind of slotting in 1, 2, 3 here with Tim Harper just behind. Now Brandon Dumford racing side by side with Matthew George. And it looks like Harper will stay in that 5th place, and Brandon Dumford has already gained a spot there by taking Matthew George that first lap. We've got somebody having an issue. Yes, we've got a couple of cars. Anthony Mackie having an issue and Michael Robinson stuck in the wall. That will undoubtedly bring out our first caution of the day here on lap number 4. Tries to back up, and here comes the whole pack into the corner, but they managed to throw the caution just in time. Vincent Arthur streaming along. Unfortunately, nobody getting into the middle of that one. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here. I see that Peyton Tulloch had just passed Michael Robinson, so let's see if we can figure out exactly what happened here. Oh, Michael Robinson sideways here. Having all kinds of issues, basically coming to a stop on the straightaway. Let's back that up and see if we can tell exactly what took place for Robinson as he exited the corner. He exits the corner, starts to accelerate, starts to lose it. Corrects. Correct again. Gets slammed into, and then nowhere to go into the inside wall. That's a difficult one there. So, unfortunately, it did look like it caught Anthony Mackie out as well. So this was what Mackie saw from on board his machine. Oh, right into the side. Robinson. Looks like he'll have to take some damage from here as well. So that brings us to our first caution. It didn't take long, did it? Short tracks can sometimes do that. But already we saw a pass for the lead. That was Vincent Arthur getting by John Cottle on the start. And it looks like 3rd through 5th remaining exactly where they qualified. Brandon Dumford gaining a spot. And basically you got to go back to Nick Geilis, who took multiple positions. Why don't we go back and check out, and let's see if we can tell how Nick Geilis passed all of these cars coming from the green flag. So let's just zero in on Geilis here as we come to that green flag. So already passing one car there. Here comes, let's see the numbers. The number 3 as the livery shows. Passing and trying to get around a couple more cars here. Taking advantage of a little bit of smoke into the corner, and there he gets by another one. We're working on number 9, Napa Chevy and Matthew Hibbs. Just behind number 51 of Joshua Curry. As things start to stack up a little bit, and he starts to make his moves, you can see this is where the accident happened. He manages to get by several cars in the midst of that. Doesn't manage to get around the outside of the number 9 before the yellow comes out. In fact, he does. The yellow comes out right about that point. So Skyless taking 7 spots here in the first 4 laps. Leading our hard chargers thus far. Exciting stuff, so once again, feel free to check in with us. Rip King checking in, saying hello, good to see ya. Steven Dombrowski, let's go Mr. Norman. There you go, the Ronnie Norman fan club coming out in full force. With Steven Dombrowski letting us know that he's rooting on his favorite Ronnie out there. Ronnie's riding in 4th place and looking solid. Last night, was looking at the Ronnie Norman Racing page on Facebook, and he's just talking about how disappointing it was last night. He scraped the wall, and it was all downhill from there. But tonight, it's looking pretty good. Ronnie Norman flatline Chevy challenging there for 3rd place, almost getting John Cottle in the process. Josh Conover in front, not really quite able to hang with Vincent Arthur on that start. And we've got a car around. Is that... Who is that? That's Tim Harper, who gets caught out, and he does bring out the next caution. So, hey, good news is, if you like cautions, we're leading the way here with the NORA Cup Series 2, and we're just hitting lap 11. So, got 200 plus laps to go, folks. This week, you might need more than one favorite adult beverage in your hand tonight. It may not be a sipping night either, so well, cautions breed cautions, but let's see if we can figure out exactly what happened to Tim Harper here. This we looked a little bit earlier. This was Cameron Thompson getting by Tim Harper. And if we maybe move the camera to the chopper, we can kind of take a look a little bit better here. So Tim Harper there, he gets helped around. And that leaves him sitting sideways on the track. I'm not sure by who. I didn't quite catch the number. But we can take a look one more time, see if we can ride on board here with him. And there, I think, is your culprit. The 15. That'd be Brady Motes. So Brady laying the chrome horn to good old Tim Harper. And it's going to have to catch his breath after that one. Tim not going down a lap, fortunately, with this caution. That's going to give him a chance to come in, as did Jacob Gladelich. They're going to come in, take a little bit of damage repair, possibly throw on... I don't think he'd throw on new tires yet. They haven't really degraded much. So let's take a look at the weather settings for tonight. 14 miles per hour, the breeze. It's not going to matter very much with these cars because they're not really doing that high of speed. 92 degrees on the track. Also not going to be too big of a factor in the long run with the tire degradation. Certainly, as we get further along in the season and the temperatures begin to rise, that is going to start to be a real factor watching that on-track temperature. So, and just to check in here on our second caution with the Ronnie Norman fan club, it's currently running in 3rd place. There's Ronnie for Flatline Motorsports, 27-year-old out of Clinton, Indiana. So just cruising around and looking to see what he can squeeze out of tonight. Currently, as you saw in the driver standings, Ronnie sitting in 3rd in the championship. And, you know, to him, I think it's just going to matter that he can survive. Myself, I've done a few of these extremely long races at Richmond. One I got a chance to do on that was covered by one of the bigger networks, racing in IndyCar. And all I can say is, like I said, it's just settling into the groove over the long run, managing your car and looking out for, you know, drivers that as we get deeper into the runs, the lap time's going to start to fall off, and you're going to see a lot of drivers dip in, get new tires. You got to be aware of those drivers who get those new tires coming through the field. You got to kind of let them go, stick with your strategy. And Ronnie Norman knows that. He's that kind of driver. So we'll see whether or not it's Norman here tonight. But Norman gets the jump on Conover. Conover, not a great start there. And Norman going to move up into second. I think that's going to push Conover back into the clutches of Otto and Dunford, who are still sitting side by side behind. So Otto still holding on to that fourth place. Of course, qualifying on the pole. A bit further back, we've got Cameron Thompson and Nick Geilis. Geilis in the 3. And Thompson in the 17, though it says 3. There, though it says 2 on his car. The number is number 17. Back up front, though, Vincent Arthur out of Manchester, Maryland, 20 years old. Really can't believe it. Got such experience, quite a phenom, if I do say so myself, and out here just kind of in his own class here tonight. A little bit further back, here's Josh Curry. He's managed to pick up 4 spots so far, riding that 51, but starting to go backwards, as you can see. The 88, Chad Engel here coming up on his inside. The 21 trying to force that position as well. Zach Hollinger getting by. Now Zach Hollinger tagging Engel, who got sideways there and had to figure that one out. So unfortunately for Engel, he gets the raw end of that deal. This was just a moment ago. If we can jump back to that replay, this was, everything kind of got a little bit scattered there, but I think, you know what it was, is really Engel just got loose coming off of the corner. And again, that's something else that can happen here at this track. Very easy to do. These corners are very deceptive, and I think let's go ahead and ride on board with Vincent Arthur, and maybe we can take a look at this. The most deceptive corner, I mean, it's tricky to run here. I'm not going to lie. You've got to get braking just right. You've got to let the car feed out the exit just right, and that exit off of turn 2, if you push out too far at all, that wall is right there to snag your car. Turns 3 and 4, it's more about setting up properly through turns 3 and making sure that you're backing up the corner a little bit, not trying to push it too hard through 3 and 4, getting the exact right groove through that corner. You can see him now going through 1. Want to get on the gas at just the right time, excuse me, 3 and 4. Then get on just the right time. Feed that throttle out, let it ride out through turn 4. Here you can see he begins his turn very early, Vincent does, and that is to set the car down low into the corner and allow him to get on that gas coming out of turn 2. Again, look how early that turn in is into 3 and 4, and that gives him the ability to ride on the gas coming out of the corner. It's very deceptive. I mean, look how early that is. A lot of times at tracks, you're trying to come in with a little bit later of an apex or ride the middle of the groove and then sort of pinch it or diamond shape the corner, but not here at Richmond. You've got to get the car turned as early as possible, and you also don't want to carry too much speed into the corner, otherwise you'll start to slide up the track. And as I mentioned, bad things can happen when you exit onto this backstretch wall. That wall is right there ready to grab your car, and certainly a bit different when I was racing in the Indy cars, because you have the weight jacker, although you see Vincent Arthur get up there close into the wall, possibly scraping that wall, get away with a certain number of those. But in the Indy car, you have what's known as a weight jacker, and you can actually go and adjust that during the race, and it makes a big difference turning the car. And so very easy to get a little carried away with that. Here, you don't have that same control in these next-gen cars, but what you do have is your right foot and your left foot and you do have the ability to set the car much earlier in the quarter to get the type of bite and turn that you need. So Arthur doing a fabulous job of that right now, and you can see we're already on lap 28. So this one clicks by real fast if it stays green. Ronnie Norman out there for Flatline doing an awesome job. He passed Conover there on that restart and hasn't really looked back. He's taken a full second lead over Josh Conover. Conover, trying to pick up where he left off last week. A fabulous podium position. Fortunately, good friend Ronnie Norman getting the better of him on that restart, but Conover still hanging on to that podium position. Cottle, just behind in the Harper Ford, is trying to get back to where he was at the start. He started on pole position. Again, have been in this place as well. When you're out there, you feel like you got a fast car and start the race, and all of a sudden, boom, back to second, third, fourth, fifth, and you're saying, what's happening? Well, Cottle managed his truck very well last night at Texas. And I'll tell you what, as the stint went on, there was Cottle at the very end at the right place at the right time. So, he wasn't one of the top three in qualifying, but he was able to manage his truck through the course of that race, put himself into the right place to be at the end. So can he do that here tonight? Possibly manage those tires and get himself up there, stay in the top 5 or possibly up on the podium? Possibility. Brandon Dunford getting 2 spots already so far out there in his Rays car. Obviously a baseball fan, I believe. Their sports team. Not much I know. But Nightmare Motorsports got to be happy with this driver, Brandon, as currently he and Nick Geilis are both in the top 10. 34-year-old out of Milton, Florida. Looking solid out there. He's got his Publix on the side. Those of you who, I don't know how far Publix stretches out there, but have a few choices around here of supermarkets and Publix. You can certainly understand putting that on the side of your race car. Solid choice there in that supermarket for sure. Here's Cameron Thompson for Harper Motorsports. Picked up 2 spots so far, staying ahead of Cody Height, also out of the Harper Motorsports stable. Both these drivers gaining position so far on this start. Cody up 4 spots so far. Looking back here at the Nick Geilis number 3 for PPG Paint. Nightmare Motorsports, as I mentioned, also out of Florida, Lake City, Florida. Got a lot of cool concerts going on over in Lake City. I don't know if I'll ask Nick if out to any of those, but big festivals going on over there. As we're now VirtualRacing.Network officially located out of Florida. We're a little bit west of Lake City, over here in the Panhandle portion. But Geilis there was just working on the bottom side of the 22 of Cody Height and ended up falling back. Now, Geilis, as I mentioned, was an early climber, 7 positions. He's now added a few more onto that, up 11 spots so far, and continuing to work these vehicles. Looks like he's struggling a little bit right now, of course, as the camera's focused on him. So Matthew George getting by and Timothy Harper getting by, although Harper in that 12 is trying to come back from that earlier incident. Harper now going to look down to the inside of Geilis. Tim Harper, namesake of Harper Motorsports, try to get back up further into the top 10 here. As they're starting to deal with a little bit of traffic, you can see looking out the back, got your rear mirror filled with Adam Kulikowski looking forward to it's all about picking and choosing the right lines to be on so that you can get through the corner and get on the gas. I mean, you could say that any week, but here at a short track like Richmond, you really have to pick and choose. You can get stranded on the outside, and it's pretty impossible to get back to where you need to be. If you choose the too far inside and you get pinched down, very difficult to get into the gas. And we have a caution. Not quite seeing who it's for. Take a look and see. I believe, I take it back. We are at our first stage. So that stage belonging to Vincent Arthur and Ronnie Norman, Josh Conover, and John Cottle. Brandon Dumford, your top 5 through stage number 1. So congratulations to them. Norman taking 2nd place for the fan club out there to celebrate with. Good time to mention that next week, of course, the NORA Truck and Cup Series, always going to be right here on VirtualRacing.Network. Next week, of course, both heading to the Dirt Bristol racetrack. I mean, we are all looking forward to that. Nobody knows what's going to happen. You see Anthony Mackie getting his lap back there. All these drivers heading down into the pits. Vincent Arthur leads them down pit lane. You see the 26 come flying in there as well. So you won't want to miss it next week. Bristol Dirt, and the way to make sure that you don't miss it is to subscribe. You can see that looks like Conover beat Ronnie Norman and Vincent Arthur out of the pits. So congratulations to Conover and Norman on a great pit stop. John Cottle back up into that 4th position as well. So you want to make sure you subscribe and you hit that notification bell. You won't miss a minute's worth of action here on VirtualRacing.Network. You can also subscribe to us over on Facebook and on Twitter as well. The National Oval Racing Association, NORA, is also over on Facebook, so make sure you subscribe to them over there. With that, we're going to step aside for just a minute. We'll be right back here on VirtualRacing.Network with the start of stage number 2. Welcome back here to Richmond as we get stage 2 underway. Josh Conover going to lead it back to the green flag. And we are moving here in Richmond. Conover, oh my goodness! And Cottle came in so hot, nailed Conover. That sent multiple cars around. Oh my goodness, that was something else to watch. We're going to have to figure this one out, as that restart did not go to plan for numerous drivers. And I was also going to mention Vincent Arthur had apparently hydraulic issues and decided to pull it into the track. Some sort of an issue with his car there. So let's see if we can see what took place here. Jump to the chopper cam as Conover leads it back to the green flag. There you see Cottle behind in that number 6. Just comes in way too hot. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he would have made the corner, and maybe Conover was being a little conservative. It just looked like he came in way too hot. So let's see if we can check this out once again. We'll watch from on board with Cottle, see if it looks like he's coming in a little bit too hot. Fast start finish there. You hear the tires screeching. I don't think Cottle was going to properly make that corner, but also hard to tell. We can tell maybe from Conover's point of view what happened. Accelerates for the green flag. I don't know, hard to tell. You know, honestly, one of those things where it's really hard to say, because Conover kind of came off the gas a little early. What do you think out there, YouTube chat? It's tough to tell from my standpoint. It looked like maybe a little of both. But also, YouTube, feel free to vote in the poll that I just posted. You can choose from 4 different options. Is it going to be tough to see Josh Conover coming back from this, but stranger things have happened. He's only back into 15th. This is short track where you don't necessarily need a perfect car. Ronnie Norman, is he going to take the win tonight, or will it be Cottle who takes the win tonight? Once again, he's a little bit further back than even Josh is at the moment, so going to be difficult for him. Or will it be someone else? Let us know in the YouTube chat poll that just got posted. I'll be sure to talk about the results here as we get towards the end of this one. Feel free to vote. Otherwise, make sure you check in with us and let us know where you're watching from. Always good stuff. Up in front, Ronnie Norman going to take over that lead. Matthew George going to start second. Cameron Thompson in third. Brady Motes in fourth. Tim Harper back up into fifth. Nick Geilis in sixth. We've got a number of these drivers who have really already been climbing huge mountains here. Got Ronnie Norman climbing 3 spots. Matthew George up 4 spots. Battle box. There you go. You can see it a little bit easier. Just how many positions that designated by that green column there on the right side. And biggest mover and shaker so far, Nick Geilis up 12 spots. So he's on it already. Here goes Norman. We're back to green here in Richmond. We're side by side just behind between Cameron Thompson and Matthew George for that second place. Timothy Harper also in that mix. Side by side, there goes Timothy Harper. He's around. And does he collect the 9 car? I'm not sure if the 9 got into him, but Harper having real issues there off of that restart. does not bring out a caution flag. Looks like everybody's back to racing here. Back up front, no challenges to Ronnie Norman. Looking back, it looks like Cameron Thompson, Matthew George now able to work that one out as well, with George emerging in front. Nick Geilis continues his parade forward, now up into 4th place, gaining 15 positions so far. Shades of last night. Something else, watching some of these drivers be able to just really work their way through the field. It's some exciting stuff. Looking a little bit further back, this is Cottle and Curry trying to work out 11th place. Oh, and Curry getting loose. Get back to his car. There we go. Curry really got loose there as soon as we focused on him. But he manages to get it going again. Back up in front though, Ronnie Norman having absolutely no difficulties whatsoever. Working at lap number 58, soon to be lap number 59. And like I said, you blink an eye and this track has already done another lap. So tonight, the car cameras provided once again by Shane Weinmiller, simwrapmarket.com. Make sure to stop on over to simwrapmarket.com for all of your car wrapping needs and also your camera needs. He provides lots of track cams, car cams, etc. One reason why we are alternating different weeks of using his track cameras and their track cameras is because we've invested quite a lot of time into our own track camera set here on VirtualRacing.Network, but fantastic track cameras, and certainly for any of the tracks that we haven't already created them for, we will be featuring those as well here on the NORA broadcast. So great to have him be a part of this great league, and unfortunately he's not in tonight's race, but we'd love to see him back in the mix here at some point in the near future. It's like Geilis starting to now pull a little bit away from Cameron Thompson for that 3rd spot. So Geilis climbing 16 positions here tonight, really starting to take a bite into Richmond. But perhaps that poll is already outdated, but Matthew George working hard here for Flatline, making it a Flatline 1-2, and Nick Geilis coming through for Nightmare, running in 3rd spot right here. So lap number 64 of 240. Round number 7, Richmond. And already we've seen a lot of action here. Tempers flaring here at Richmond. So Matthew George sitting back about 1.4 seconds off this lead. Take a look at the track map on the right hand side. Follow along with where your favorite driver is at. There you can see how the time has gone on. You can see Ronnie Norman just building up a little bit of a lead each and every lap. Not much, almost imperceptible. But as we're working here later laps, Ronnie Norman just trying to add just a tiny bit there. Actually, excuse me, that was the time back from George to Geilis. Here you go. So this is how the gap has changed. all the way up to 1.3 seconds now, but it's kind of holding right around that same mark. So perhaps George able to stabilize this gap at this moment. And again, we're going to start to see as these drivers start to really work on it. They all came in on lap number 43, and that was the end of stage 1. Here we are at lap 69. We haven't seen that many green flag laps, but we're going to start to see some of that tire degradation become a factor here, where the drivers and their driving style, you know, perhaps overcooking that right front, over abusing the right rear, that is going to all start to take a toll as you get over about 25, 30 laps in these cars. That gap now up to 1.6 seconds. But Ronnie Norman really starting to put down the times here at Richmond and start to put away this competition. Back, once again, 1.6 seconds back to George. Then you got to go back to Guileless, 3.7 seconds. Cameron Thompson, 5 seconds back now. Brady Moats 5.7, so this field's starting to get a little strung out. You can start to see that with that track map up there. This is not as tight of a race as you might think at a short track like this. You might think, oh, they're going to be nose to tail and trying to dive bomb each other into the corners, etc. Nope, not so much. As I mentioned, it really is a lot about finding that rhythm, and it's difficult to necessarily keep up with the drivers that are exceptionally good at maintaining that average lap speed. So what you're going to see here at a track like Richmond is drivers that can maintain that average lap speed better over the course of the stint. Those are the ones that will possibly end up a lap up on the competition. Here comes the 22 car of Cody Height trying to make a position up on Brady Moats. Moats up 4 spots so far tonight, and Height up 5 spots. 22 unable to complete that pass. Jump on board though for Harper Motorsports driver. Too aggressive of an entry, Stephen Dombrowski says about the restart. We appreciate you chiming in, Stephen, being a part of YouTube chat out there, letting us know on that restart. It was definitely coddled, too aggressive of an entry. And I do agree. I mean, in general, certainly, we all know as far as insurance goes, don't hit the car in front of you because you're always going to be at fault. But certainly when it comes down to racing, if there's fault to be assigned, as you see, Moats and Cameron Thompson getting really close to each other, and that's now allowing Height to try to find a way by the number 17 car of Cameron Thompson, and in fact he does, putting that Stone Light machine down a lap, or down a position, excuse me. That was his teammate at Harper Motorsports. And Cameron Thompson really struggling there, coming off of the corner. So perhaps Thompson starting to struggle here at Richmond. Was up in the top 5 just a moment ago, now slid back to 8th position and losing spots very quickly. Qualified in 8th and was having a good run early, but as you can see, Tim Harper now getting by. Thompson starting to slide back in a hurry. So perhaps some damage to that machine, perhaps the tires just too torn. that goes to worse for Thompson. Here's Peyton Tulloch. Tulloch, that number 1 machine for JRC Sim Team, has actually gained 9 spots so far. He's just outside the top 10, sitting in 11th place. It's getting challenged here by Adam Kulikowski. Manages to take that position. Kulikowski, an independent in the field, and has dropped a position so far today. So still trying to get back up to where he qualified, but moves like that obviously don't take very long. He's got to go another second and a third or so to get up to Cameron Thompson, though. And you just saw Cameron drop all the way to 8th. Well, now he's all the way back to 10th. But perhaps that would be another easy one for him to snag, because Thompson does appear to be having some more issues out there. But we've got some more side-by-side action. We look up there at Conover, I believe, who's now getting into the middle of this one. Brandon Dunford and Tim Harper there racing for that 7th position. Then just in front, that's Height and Caudle. We're back at it there, so Caudle recovering with Conover. And I mean, to be fair, I just got to say this. You know, we're out there making passing judgment. Of course, it's not our place to say who's at fault. That's what the stewards will do following the race. But it's easy to make a mistake. Am I seeing that Guylis is in the pits? In fact, yes, I am. Nick Guylis choosing to jump out there after he's all the way up to 3rd place. So Guylis taking an early pit stop here under the green flag. Very, very much a penalty to do so, as he is going to fall way down the order and already going a lap down. So this is unexpected for the Floridian to make this move and jump into the pits, but we'll see whether or not there's a method to his madness. Like our ticker at some point decided it wanted to stop, so power up instead. There you go. Know where your favorite driver is. But Guylis back out there in 18th place. However, a full lap down at this point, so he's going to have to, with those fresh tires, really go at it. And this is what I was talking about at the top of the broadcast. Here comes Guylis with these fresh tires, and he is going to seem like a rocket out there compared to everyone else. So you got Ronnie Norman up in front. His last lap time was a 23.56. Guylis, his last lap time, a 22.72. So 3/4 of a second faster on just his very first lap, and make him look like he's Superman out there. Sure feels good. It really does. When you got the fresh tires and nobody else does, you're like, oh, finally, I got the advantage I was seeking. But there you can see him trying to get around Cameron Thompson, who had so much difficulty just a moment ago. But we'll pay attention and see where Guylis can make his way back to. Meanwhile, back at the front, Ronnie Norman taking care of business here in Richmond, working on lap number 92. And it's still a flatline Motorsports 1 and 2. As you can see, Matthew George just coming off the corner. Ronnie Norman is already through the corner. So Ronnie Norman basically almost a full straightaway ahead of Matthew George's teammate. These two covering the field so far. Brady Motes, full 1.7 seconds back. They're working on lap traffic. One of Joshua Curry and number 9 of Matthew Gibbs. This is where it gets tricky at a short track as well. And you can see Motes really wants to get by that number 9. That's what I'm talking about. Picking and choosing how and when to make those passes Sometimes it's for position, sometimes it's just to get around these lap cars. But unlike the 9 going high there in that corner, you can't always count on that. You know, you follow a car into the corner, there's 54 getting up into the wall just a little bit. He does manage to get out of the way of the 15. So Moats having to slice and dice. And here comes Cody Height down onto pit lane. Out of the top 10 for Harper Motorsport. Pink Pullick also doing the same thing. Number 1 for JRC, as mentioned. John Cottle also now choosing to make his pit stop as well. And that is leaving Ronnie Norman out there to continue to put down quick laps faster than just about anybody at the moment who's still left on those old tires. The last pit stop for Norman was on lap number 43. And pretty much everybody's in the same boat except for Conover, who came in on the 49th lap, and Vladelich, who came in on the 50th lap. So a lot of these drivers on very old tires at this point, well over 50 laps old. But Norman's still managing to put down some pretty good laps. 23.73. And Conover crashing potentially. What I'm seeing across our there's Conover. Happened just as we were looking the other way. Let's see if we can jump back and check this out. Is Conover has a crash here? Oh, he does. Perhaps trying to get onto pit road. Conover unable to get into the pits, and it brings out the caution. And that is exactly what Ronnie Norman wanted to see, as he's going to get a chance to pit here under caution. And he'll bring Matthew George, Brady Moats, Tim Harper, Brandon Dunford, Adam Kulakowski, Josh Conover, Chad Engel, Jacob Vladelich all down pit lane, and that is going to trap a lot of this field. Not a lap down, but they are going to get their lap back. But it basically is going to give these guys a free pit stop and put them on the newest tires, where these other drivers had already come in about 8 or 9 laps ahead. So free pit stop for Ronnie Norman. And he'll come back out in the lead with Nick Geilis in second, Brady Moats. Actually, Brady Moats now shown in second, Nick Geilis in third. Tim Harper in fourth, Brandon Dumford in fifth. So we'll step aside real quick. We will be right back here on VirtualRacing.Network. You won't want to miss this restart. They've been pretty much pretty chaotic here so far. Won't want to miss this one. Stay tuned. Pace truck pulls off. It's Ronnie Norman who jumps back out to the lead. Brady Moats in second and Tim Harper in third. And it looks like Moats is going to hold on for just a corner longer, but here comes Harper back on the inside. Harper now making that challenge to Moats. Not sure if he's going to be able to pull it off, because that's been pretty strong there on the outside for Moats, but as these tires start to get heated up, Harper's going to get a little bit better run off the corner, be able to take this position, perhaps able to hold the inside line through the corner a little bit better as well. The shortest way around the corner sometimes wins. There you go, Harper up into that second place. See Brady Moats there in third and Brandon Dumford in fourth. Jacob Vladelich in fifth. Vladelich up 7 spots at this point. Looking strong in that JRC Sim machine. Adam Kulikowski just behind, and he's managed to pick up a bunch of spots with that round of pit stops, so all the way up into 6th at the moment. Chad Engel also currently with Brian Powell Motorsports up into that 7th spot. He's up 7 positions. Big losers on this one was Matthew George, who fell back to 8th. Dropped 2 spots. John Cottle was still trying to work his way back forward after that Josh Conover incident in turn 1. Currently running in that 9th spot. Nick Geilis completes your top 10, up 9 spots so far tonight, and know that he can make his way back up to that top 3. Sitting just behind Geilis, Josh Conover for Flatline to join his buddy back up to the front, but I don't know if something may be wrong with that car, because he is just falling back here and does not seem like he can maintain that same pace that he once had. Josh Curry back here as well in 12th place. Curry the first one a lap down. Cody Height also getting caught in that mix of getting a lap down there, but Ronnie Norman kind of walking away with this one a little bit. 1.4 seconds ahead, working on lap 111. Pretty soon going to come up to halfway here. Again, looking pretty solid out there, and I don't know if there's anybody who can yet challenge him, so I think what we're thinking of is maybe lap traffic might be a factor here as we go along. He's already got some cars that are a lap down, but as he has to keep working through this field, we've already seen that some drivers getting sideways, having other issues. That might be something to watch out for. Tim Harper, though, Harper Motorsports, he is climbing up a little bit, and each and every lap he's been able to chip back into this lead that Ronnie has already set here early on. 1.6 seconds. Actually, I take it back now, that lead starting to stretch out just a little bit more. 1.8 seconds now. Was starting to chip into it when I looked last, but last time, 22.76 for Norman, 23.03 for Harper. In fact, it might be Harper who's under attack here before very long. Brady Moats, he's trying to come back up the order here. Of course, sitting high up in the championship points at the moment. Trying to continue that march up the championship order. Sitting in third. Why don't we go ahead and jump on board here with number 15 and ride around for a few laps and see what it's like. This is Brady Moats as he tries to close in on Timothy Harper just up in front. Enjoy. quite able to close that gap. In fact, Harper starting to walk away a little bit. How about we jump back a little bit and watch John Cottle try to come back up the field. This is now chasing Chad Engel for Brian Powell Motorsports. Cottle goes a long ways to go to get up to that podium position. All the way back to 9th place. There he tries the outside on Engel. Let's just watch and see what he can do. And just to take that one, no trouble at all. Out the back. Now clear Engel. Set his sights. Got about a 15 seconds now up the track. He's going to have to go to get to Aspen Gorge. And again, for those of you out there who saw perhaps Texas last night, you must have seen lots of side-by-side action, tons of passing, lots of drafting. This may seem like a different kind of race, of course it is. At a track like this, it starts to go in the longer runs. You're just trying to chip in and trying to work on the cars up in front. You've got passing going on here between Aspen Gorge and Adam Kwiatkowski. But they're able to get around Kwiatkowski there. Back up in 6th position, not qualified. Kwiatkowski still in a good spot to get started tonight. But that's what I'm talking about. If you start chipping in, you start looking at those relative times, shaping up whether or not the progress of the driver in front. Chipping away at it. You know, perhaps you get a little bit of an opportunity. Of course, all these drivers are going to be moving forward to that lap 138 stage to end. We'll get back together. Kwiatkowski. Top 10 for tonight. Not getting caught up in that lap down hit saga. But the Ronnie Norman fan club out there enjoying this run. Steven Dombrowski got some picked up. Watching Ronnie air it up here at Richmond and enjoying every moment of it. Every one of these laps looking off. Yet another sort of victory for Norman. Harper in 2nd place at the moment. Holding down for Harper Motorsports as the only step back with the Cottle in 8th place. Two drivers for Harper that are up to the top 10. Brady Oates still hanging on to 3rd, but Brandon Dunford has been up closer than you would have thought. Dunford still trying to chip away at this one, but in other words, he was up there closer, but it fell back a little bit and started to make a little bit of progress on Oates. Now it's back at about 2nd, and this is just kind of this ebb and flow that you deal with. And of course, they're really struggling to exit the corner. That could cost them a little bit of time. But you fight with the car a little bit, maybe you wrestle with it. With the track, trying to understand how the tires are dealing with the track and about whatever changes you might need to make on your pit stop, air pressure adjustment. And so these drivers are going to be starting to consider what they're going to do for the final stage of this race. Just about 6 more laps to go for Norman and Harper and Oates in the top 3 of the stage number 2. And we'll know Vincent Arthur in the show right now. park that vehicle. I think it's looking pretty good for Norman. He can hold this one together here for stage number 3. He might just have that victory lead here, but still a long, long ways to go as we are really just a little ways over halfway. Matthew George back here in 5th place. Still 3 seconds to drift with Brandon Dunford. See Cottle now racing up to the house of Cottle. Closing in on that Kulikowski machine. You see Cottle now going underneath Josh Conover. Conover, really can't wait to see what the fallout of that incident was. Really did take Conover out of the potential race-winning position. Currently, Conover is the front car for lap down, so perhaps Conover will decide to stay out there and get his lap back, but he has the pace to handle at this point any longer. Ronnie Norman, though, here on lap number 136, he's just got 2 more laps to hang on to the win. Pretty close just in front. This is what I'm talking about. If you're Ronnie Norman, you know, this is the number 9 and the number 21. 9 is Gibbs, 21 is Hollinger, and they're battling for 11th place. Norman, I mean, you got to pick and choose how you're going to make this pass, or if you're just going to wait it out, and it might be better to just wait it out, although Timothy Harper is closing in 8/10 of a second back here. But with that, Norman going to be able to back out, get on the gas just a little bit here, and let it cruise. He's now taking the caution flag for the end of stage number 2. So congratulations to Ronnie Norman, Timothy Harper, and Brady Motes. That's your top 5 here at Richmond through stage number 2. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the start of stage number 3. Don't go anywhere. quiet here on the eastern front. I've been enjoying the silence. I guess I've been practicing. But Norman holding on to the lead here on lap 166. Not sure when that got kicked on. But either way, accidentally muted there for a moment. But we're back here. Ronnie Norman and Tim Harper in first and second. John Cottle in third. Brandon Dunford in fourth. And Matthew George in fifth. Hanover has managed to get back up there on the lead lap and certainly up into sixth position. And he's starting to close in on his teammate Matthew George. He's second away at the moment. So this is soon to be turning back into a top five for John Hanover. Eventually, he can get around George. And that is probably something that a lot of us out here watching would love to see. Because, Hanover really got the raw end of the deal not that long ago by Cottle. And now Cottle is up there in third place. So I think what we all want to see before this one's over is a nice showdown between Hanover and Cottle. That would be that we all like to see go down. I'm sure it'd be nice to Hanover. And I was saying earlier, it's got to be clear. Mistakes happen. Sometimes you miss a great moment. Sometimes you get caught up in the moment. You're racing in the car and you forget, I need to break a little bit earlier. Again, Richmond is making me in the way that you have to break down the corners. You have to back up the corner. It's really unlike a number of tracks you visit, especially for example, Cottle was at Texas last night. Well, that's not how you race Texas. You pretty much go in there full on. You don't have to break down nearly like what you do here. You certainly don't have to back up the corner like you do here. So, it just happens, and Cottle doesn't really have the history of doing that kind of thing. So, I think it's easy for somebody like Josh to say, hey, it does happen out there. Nevertheless, penalty points might happen. Part of remaining efficient and stewarding, but Hanover going to try to make the most of it. Back in sixth place and climb up in that top five position. Ronnie Norman, though, did a fabulous job here for flat line, holding down the fort up the front. He's been solid all race long, has not looked back at all. Tim Harper started to grind into that, started to cut into that lead, but has since backed out, now about a step back. So just as we get through these middle laps, it just seems like Ronnie's got the ability to just hold his own and open the out kind of shades of Arthur in some of the races that we've already seen from him. But Harper back here in second. Done a fabulous job as well, climbing a good spot so far. Top four runner thus far. Again, managing to get stuck, so trying to stick with the power. It's not really running the software. For some reason, getting stuck on the old traffic. But there you go. No more stage ends to stop this one or to break it up. All green, hopefully, till the end of this one. We'll get a chance to see who does have the best long-term strategy. So far, it's been Ronnie Norman and Tim Harper have been absolutely solid. John Cottle there in third. Well, we all saw what happened on that restart towards the beginning of the race. Hanover was in front. Cottle came in too hot. Was Stephen Dombrowski. But Stephen Dombrowski was also over in our chat room and to say, hey, get those bonus points, bro. Let's go for sure. Ronnie Norman stacking up those bonus points like I was saying earlier. I don't know if that hurt me that pick, but basically it's a good thing to stack up those bonus points you never know what's going to happen at the end of the race. So manage, take first stage, second stage, get the race, the stage win. You know, it doesn't seem quite as bad if you manage to get taken out in that last stage and possibly don't get the race victory. You've got some points. So, always a reason that you could be up there at the front trying to get those stage wins. And certainly Ronnie Norman and Rousey very happy about that. Matthew George in 5th place. That is teammate Josh Conover, who was closing a lot closer, but now Matt was trying to pick it up a little bit, and now getting a lot closer to Brandon Dufford. So possibly we might see Dufford have a challenge here from George for that 4th spot. Racing with Powerade on board. Definitely a bottle at the moment. Interesting to see some drivers choosing to go with the electrolytes and some drivers choosing to go with let's say just alcohol. We don't have a lot of this beer alcohol. We've got beer sponsors in this league, but whatever floats your boat, if you like making it one better, there you go. I know Vincent Arthur is too young to be partaking of its sponsor, but Josh Conover, though, out there with the HenryCars.com machine. Racing Flatline Motorsports. Their affiliation with Hendrick is certainly showing through, with Ronnie Norman up there in 1st and Matthew George in 5th. Josh Conover in 6th place. Flatline really well represented here in the field. Arthur actually was in quite a long time, but of course he had to pull it in the end. All of the 92 hydraulic there. Brady Motes, Ryan Powell Motorsports, holding it down, and you see that wasn't Kwiatkowski. That was one of the drivers, Hollinger. Yes, I think it was Hollinger getting very, very loose there just a moment ago, and looks like here's the battle. Dylis and Ladowich fighting over 9th place. They've swapped position a couple of times now. Number 3 there on the outside of Dylis. Still holding tough. Got the 9th position so far here today, but he's actually now in that 8th position because Matt Engel from Brian Powell Motorsports moves up to that spot. So again, what we're starting to see is that these tires are starting to wear different for some of these drivers. These cars are starting to come in. We got some side-by-side action between Matthew George and Josh Conover as they approach the back of Brandon Dufford. Conover down on the low line. George makes that one go easy. Lets his teammate go by. Josh Conover. Oscar's going to have a look here on Dufford. Closing in, as I mentioned, on George and on Dufford. And I had pretty much, I know I shouldn't have, but I had pretty much written him off. He had that incident early on. I thought, well, he's going to go down a lap or two. This is not going to go well for him. And I think he had damage. So, to me, it looked like Conover was out of this one. But it is proving me wrong. Up there taking that 4th place from Brandon Dufford. And now it looks like Matthew George is set to do exactly the same thing. George closing in on Dufford. that one, but Guylis getting hits there. About 59 miles remaining here at Richmond. You're watching the NORA Cup Series, the exclusive home of the NORA Cup Series, right here on VirtualRacing.Network. Apparently now there's been several strange conditions for night, so we're watching along. And now it looks like Vladelich sitting backwards on the track. That's not how you want to do it, and he gets slammed into by Matthew George. Unfortunately, George did not get the heads up. Oh, that is too bad for Vladelich and for George. George now sitting backwards on the track, and he's going to have to bring it around. Oh, Matthew George just having a top 5 type of day. He'll back it up on the track. Hopefully nobody gets into him. Get that one rolling again. Fortunately for him, he'll fall down a lap. Ronnie Norman, though, going to take advantage of this one. Bring it down pit road. Going to lead Timothy Harper and a number of other drivers down pit lane. A very long pit lane here at Richmond that curves because of the track being basically just a big circle on the front straightaway. So that's a little tricky to get used to. So Tim Harper into the pits as well. Team works around the other side. Get his tires on. Down and away. With that, you can see he manages to take over the second spot. Ronnie Norman still holding on to that top spot with Tim Harper in the second. Perhaps Harper might have a little bit of damage repair to do on that caution, but Auto on that position, but we'll see how they straighten this one out. We're just going to jump aside for a second. We'll be right back to pick up the action here. Getting down to the closing moments here of Richmond. You won't want to miss it. Who's going to be able to take victory here in Richmond for NORA? Stay tuned. under green here at Josh Conover got up there into second place. I have no idea how that happened. Looking at the pit time, pit lane time, yes, pit lane time, Conover was a little bit faster, but I just couldn't see that coming through. So Conover taking over second, Flatline Motorsport. McConnell just behind in third. Are we about to see the fireworks here at Richmond? I think Cottle is not afraid to try to take that position once again, but I might be a little cautious this time if I was trying to work around Josh Conover if I was John Cottle. Brady Motes sitting in fourth place, Brandon Dunford in fifth, Timothy Harper back in sixth place. So again, it looks like some restructuring possibly of this front group, but either way, that is how they run. Ronnie Norman pulling a small gap, sitting into the second, out over Josh Conover, and then still very close as John Cottle. And you've got Brady Motes getting sideways, coming through the corner, now pulling it down and hitting that inside wall. Will it stay green? It does. So Motes goes from like fourth place back to ninth. And here's Tim Harper, who now inherits that fourth place. With Adam Kulikowski, our top independent runner, just behind. So Kulikowski starting to emerge at the front here with 38 laps remaining to go here in Richmond. Angle hanging on in sixth place. Ryan Powell Motorsports, so up in spots here tonight at 88. This is what I was talking about, Survivor. You survive best, especially if you're in that mid-pack, maybe you don't have the speed, one up there in front, one over. How are you going to survive this race? Can you survive this race? And so far, it looks like drivers in this mid-pack are starting to, like Kulikowski, for example, like in 5 spots, getting all the way up there in 5th. They're taking it from the top 10 to 5th. Top 5 right now. This is solid news here. Adam Kulikowski here. And we've got, I hear another driver having an issue. I think it's Matthew Gibbs. There it is, Matthew Gibbs in the lead. And possibly Matt George involved in that one as well. So things going from bad to worse for George. Take a look at what happened here. This was after Matthew George got passed. I think it's Wow! Oh, let's have to take a look at that one again. Now, perhaps if we go to the chopper cam, we can see a little bit more efficiently what we're looking at here. But you can see George coming in very hot on the back of the number 9 machine and slams into the back. And then it looks like the 3 of Vladelich and the 22 of Cody Height kind of get jammed up there, but fortunately only 2 cars involved, the 9 and the 8. Playing a little bit of pool out there on the track. So let's see if we can jump back and see what it looked like from George's point of view. We'll see if we go here to the onboard shot. It just looks like, I mean, what it looks like to me, if I go back here, I think Hibbs possibly, I'm gonna back this one up just a little bit further here. Hibbs maybe gets into that outside wall. I mean, maybe it's a little earlier than George thought. Again, Hibbs racing in a different, part of the pack than George was. But now, some of these drivers are going to take advantage of this. We've got 32 laps remaining. Motes, Guylis down on pit lane. Cameron Thompson taking the pit stop here. Anthony Mackie, Zach Hollander Matthew George going to take a pit stop, of course, fix some of that damage. Matthew Gibbs, Peyton Tulloch, they're into the pits to fix whatever he can on that machine. But Guylis and Moats, who still were on the lead lap. So this is kind of a freebie pit stop for them. And Guylis has already claimed 10 spots here tonight. It's going to be a really great strategy call for them and for Brady Moats as well. We'll have to see if this works out in their favor. We're closing down to the final moments here at Richmond. If we don't get any more cautions, it could be over in a blink of an eye. So stay tuned, everybody. We have more action here from the great short track at Richmond Raceway. Stay tuned. That base run pulls off here on lap number 210. And we're green again. Ronnie Norman lead Josh Conover into turn 1 and Cottle real close to the back end there. We've got some more action here happening in the mid-pack. 15 falling out, that's Brady Moats. I think some of these drivers are going to take a second to get these tires back up to temp. As remember, Moats and Guylis both got brand new tires, now making it 3 wide there. Height in the middle. And the 1 car is part of this. He'll stay to the outside. The 88 there as well, Chad Engel and Cody Height. And then the 43 on the inside, Brandon Dunford at the center of the stream. So things get a little hectic here. This driver trying to get it sorted out. But the top 3 still remain the same. Norman, Conover, and Cottle still holding on to that 3rd position. See a little bit further back, and Tim Harper still in that 4th position. But there's Adam Kulikowski, who's now under fire from Brandon Dunford. And Dunford starts to move forward. He's going to take that spot. Here comes Cody Height as well. So Kulikowski was having a good run up into the top 5, but now it's all starting to fall apart. As here comes Engel and Guylis just coming by as well. Actually, Guylis about to follow through. A little further back. Surprised Guylis and Moats haven't already been able to get further forward than this. Perhaps it's because the others had warm tires, and Guylis and Moats take a couple of seconds to get it up. But there, Guylis having an incident. I was just noticing him going a little bit slower back there. And Brady Moats got by. So, see what happens here. Guylis in the corner just starts to get loose, directs it into the wall, and then I believe that's Moats who got into it. So we've got a lot of drivers heading down pit lane. Here's Ronnie Norman leading the way. Josh Conover, John Cottle, and Tim Harper is going to stay out there and take the track position. So now we're starting to see a little bit of this strategy unfurl. Chad Engel as well, deciding to take the opportunity to save track position and stay out there. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back You're watching NORA Cup Series live here on VirtualRacing.Network. Well, will it be the tire strategy that wins this one for Timothy Harper and Chad Engel? Or will it be the new tires that Brady Motes had just stopped to put on? Will it be Ronnie Norman's newest tires and his ultra-quick speed around this Richmond Raceway? Stay tuned. We're about to find out. A 20-lap shootout to decide this one. We are go again. Timothy Harper leads us back to the green flag. Chad Engel wasting no time there trying to hold on to that outside position. He is going to drift up the track, though. That's going to allow Brady Motes to drift down inside, and still it gets nice and tight there behind the 33 car of Ronnie Norman, squeezing into the middle, making it 3 wide for a moment. There, it looks like Norman up into that 3rd spot. As you see, Conover actually no longer part of this. Well, actually, no, he has squeezed up there. That's Josh Conover in 3rd spot. I thought for a minute he had fallen back a lap down, but in fact, he's not. Josh Conover now in 3rd, challenging for 2nd with Brady Motes. Now up to 2nd place for Josh Conover. And we see the 6 car starting to go up the track. That's Cottle into the wall. He'll come back down and try and get this one back under control. Back at the front, though, it's Tim Harper, who's still leading here at Richmond. He's only got to hang on for another 17 laps. We know how quickly it goes by, so if anybody wants to take a shot at this win, they're going to have to do it quick. Here comes Ronnie Norman, taking the position from Brady Motes. That puts him back up into 3rd, and now he's going to challenge Josh Conover into turns 1 and 2. As they head off again, take it back. That was 2 and 4, and there it looks like Ronnie Norman and Conover still racing side by side. Here comes, is that Cody Height managed to come in and absolutely tag Brady Motes, and that will probably bring out a caution. Does not. I'm kind of surprised. There you see the 22 car of Cody Height still sitting there. I have no idea what took place, but either way, we're still green here in Richmond. Harper in the lead over Conover. Conover now sizing him up to try to take that position. Will we see Conover manage to get back up into the lead after such a distressful race? Conover, and he tags the back of Harper, who had come down the track a little bit to block. Oh my goodness. Rubbin is racing, and you're seeing a bit of it out there tonight. Conover taking over that lead position from Harper. That was something else to see, a little bump and run from Josh Conover saying, hello, Tim, I'm here, and I'm going to take that position. Don't try to block me. So, looks like Harper now settling into that second spot. Ronnie Norman there in third. John Cottle in fourth. The green rises back up to the top. We're almost back where we were about 200 laps ago with Ronnie Norman, Josh Conover, and John Cottle up there in the top position. Now look a little bit further back. This is Dunford with Chad Engel just behind. Adam Kwiatkowski managed to cover that vehicle. He's now going to try and take a look, I think, at Engel possibly. And that gap is starting to grow there with up in front with Conover. But it looks like Harper now under attack from Norman. I think Harper just had a poor quarter, and that has just allowed Norman to get back by. And that other battle looks like Kwiatkowski starting to close in on Engel, but we're not going to change it quite yet. Harper almost getting into the back of Norman. I think Harper's starting to really struggle with this machine as those tires are starting to go off. He made a 23.16 last time by for Harper. Another driver doing 22. Just no way he can hang out there and try and hold these other drivers off. But Cottle now getting by into that third spot. So Conover, Norman, Cottle, and now Harper with Dunford back in fifth position. A little bit further back, there's Kwiatkowski getting it sideways, trying to make that pass stick on Engel. Engel not really giving him a chance. 8 laps remaining here for Josh Conover to put this one in the books. I don't know, unless we get another yellow flag, it's looking like it's a pretty insurmountable lead for Ronnie Norman. Much to Steven Dombrowski's dismay after watching for so long, trying to root on his favorite driver there, Ronnie Norman, but still, Ronnie taking those couple of stage wins, possibly getting second place here today. That is going to be a good haul of points here today for sure. John Cottle sitting in third place. I mean, he got to feel pretty happy to be back in third after what took place earlier, and certainly had to go way back in this field, just like Josh Conover, working his way back up through. Here is Harper and Brandon Dunford swapping some paint a little bit as Dunford moves forward. Harper really struggling on those old tires now. Dunford on the same tires that Cottle and Norman Conover have, which is about 23 laps newer tires. So last time by, Conover got the high five from Barney the flag man. 5 more to go. This time 4 more to go. It's all looking pretty good from on board the 25 of Flatline Motorsports. Back in control of this race, and Ronnie Norman, his teammate, sitting behind playing wingman. I think Josh has got to like where he's sitting right now. 4 laps to go through this time once he crosses that start-finish line. And there he goes flashing by. Josh Conover managing to do what I thought wasn't going to be possible here. He drifted all the way back. He had to really climb his way back up. He made so many passes coming through the field. And once again, I thought Ronnie Norman would be the one to prove that you can slice and dice through this field and get through the lap cars, but it turns out it's Josh Conover who had to do one better to try to take this victory. This is going to be the white flag this time by as Josh Conover flashes under the flag for one final time. Can he pull this one off? Ronnie Norman sitting in second, waiting to take advantage if his teammate does have any issue, but I don't think there will be one. John Cottle, nice and clean through 1 and 2. Checkered flag in hand, and it's going to be Josh Conover taking victory here in Richmond. Ronnie Norman going to have to settle for second place after he took 2 stage wins. And again, I think this is part of what I was saying earlier about take those stage wins. He's going to go up there and salute Josh Conover on a great race. Well done. Teammate certainly very happy to pull this one out. But by taking those stage wins, finishing in second place, certainly Ronnie Norman able to be pretty happy with the results here tonight. You see Conover celebrating here on the front straightaway, much to the delight. All those fans up there in the stands. Sold out crowd here for NORA at Richmond. Always great to have those virtual fans paying the big bucks and make sure that all of our lives go around here. Take a look at the final results. There you can see on your screen the final results for tonight's round number 7 of season 2023 for the NORA Cup Series. It's Josh Conover taking victory here at Richmond. Second place, his teammate at Flatline Motorsports. Going to Ronnie Norman. Third place, John Cottle, racing for Harper Motorsports. Fourth to Brandon Dunford for Nightmare Motorsports. Fifth, going to Timothy Harper. Tim, he played that I'm going to take track position and stay out on the old tires. Well, it might have worked for 5 laps or 10 laps, but put him back in 5th place. Either way, a hard-fought race for Tim Harper, and you've got to be happy with that result just to survive this race and get out of here with the top 5. But certainly had a chance at a top 3 there, and you're always going to walk away a little sad that you don't get up there and get a podium position, but still see him next week at Bristol for sure. 6th place going to Chad Engel, Brian Powell Motorsports, Adam Kulikowski, our top independent finisher. Brady Motes for that Brian Powell Motorsports, Jacob Gladelich for JRC Sim Team, and top 10 for Cody Height tonight for Harper. And see all of the rest here. Jacob Gladelich, as I mentioned, in 9th, and Cameron Thompson in 11th. Zach Hollinger in 12th, Joshua Curry in 13th, Anthony Mackey in 14th, Peyton Tulloch in 15th, Matthew George in 16th, Nick Eilis in 17th, Matthew Hibbs in 18th, Vincent Arthur having to park it due to technical issues, and Michael Robinson having an issue much earlier. So with that, we are going to take a look into our interview room and see if we can manage to pull some of these drivers out, get a chat with them. So why don't we go ahead and start with our 3rd place finisher, the number 6 car, John Cottle, joining us here in post-race discussion. Hey John, congratulations on your podium finish, and way to go. You managed to do quite well last night, even better tonight.
Yeah, we just clicking off some laps for the season. Season's still young, so just seeing where it goes.
What a great finish for you. Fantastic way to go through tonight, except for that one restart. Now, can you talk us through what took place on that restart coming in where you managed to, I guess you were passing another vehicle heading into turn 1, but you managed to go a little bit too far and tag Josh Conover?
Yeah, what happened was I was going through the corner. It was a restart, so I was trying to be a little bit more aggressive to keep some track position because kept losing it on the restarts, and I went in a little bit deeper than I usually do, and when I hit the brake, the car just came out from up under me. I was just sideways, and I immediately apologized to Josh. I did not mean to get in there like that. I was just trying to hold on to some track position.
Well, certainly you had a terrific race otherwise, and after that incident, it did set you a long ways back. You had to really work your way back through this field, and only really at the very end were we able to see you up there in that top three. What was the rest of your race like? Was it kind of Survivor out there? Were you having to really pick and choose where you make your passes? What did you think of tonight?
It's really hard to pass at this track, which it's Richmond, it always is. But yeah, once you got mired back in traffic after about 20 laps, my whole plan was after the first time, I realized, hey, you got to go and get what you can get while you can. So every time we had a caution, I would get what I could get, and just eventually just made my way back to the front.
Well, you made your way up to the front, and then there at the end, we saw the strategy play out between Tim Harper and Chad Engel, who had stayed out there on the old tires. Did it flash into your mind, maybe they're making the right call, maybe I should have stayed out there on the old tires, or did you know that coming in and getting those tires was going to be the key to getting that top position at the end of the race?
It was a last-minute decision on my part. Me and Timmy were talking about it right before, and I decided when I saw Josh and Ronnie go in that, I'm pitting right now. There's no doubt about it, because I realized it was either going to go one or two ways. Either there was going to be a caution, and the guys that didn't take tires were going to have new tires, or it was going to go green and we had fresh tires. So it was just a last-minute decision, to be honest with you.
Well, but still, a pretty key decision, and you see this happen a lot in top-level motorsport, where the two teammates do decide to go on different strategies, and that way both of you can cover your bases, and one of you ends up victorious or ends up successful, maybe the other one not as much, or perhaps it ends up in the same place at the end. But hey, John, fantastic run out there tonight. Anybody you'd like to say thanks to?
I'd just like to thank Timmy for giving me a ride this season, Josh for putting on an amazing league, and I'd like to apologize for Josh for hitting him during the race. That's pretty much it.
Yep, the one guy you probably don't want to hit, the owner of the league in the race, but nevertheless, as we mentioned here on the broadcast, mistakes do happen, and certainly Josh understands that. Richmond's a tricky one to get exactly right. The braking zones are different than just about any place that you're going to go to, and so now, give us your thoughts real quick on Bristol Dirt coming up next week.
Oh, Bristol Dirt's going to be a fun track. We're going to see a lot of spinning, a lot of wrecks, and a lot of cautions.
Well, we have that to look forward to. It should be calamity for sure. John, fantastic run here tonight and leading the Harper Motorsports team. We'll see you next week at the Bristol Dirt track, my friend.
Thank you.
So that's John Cottle checking in with us off of the track in third place. Great run from him. And now we're going to take a look and see if we can pull in Mr. Ronnie Norman, who in that number 33 machine, he took the first two stage victories. We were sitting there watching along with Steven Dombrowski out there in YouTube land. He was rooting you on, Ronnie, through those first couple of stage victories. But man, I thought you had the win in the bag coming up to 20 to go, and then that caution came out. It really changed things. Talk us through your night, and congratulations on second place.
Yeah, I appreciate it, buddy. I had one set of tires left, and I already told myself that if there was a second caution there toward the end, I was going to pit just to use them. I mean, you got rubbers, you might as well just go in and get them. So then we had that restart with 20 to go. I felt good about it. I know some guys stayed out, so I knew it was going to get pretty interesting. And then, unfortunately, got a little tangled up. Josh was able to slip by on the bottom, and I got loose because I was looking out my mirror and I seen people wrecking. I'm like, oh, there's going to be a caution. I mean, I didn't really let up, but I was like, I figured there would have been, and then nothing came out. And I was so bent out of shape, and I lost a couple seconds to Josh when he got in front of Timmy, and then had to get it around Timmy too. Kind of gave him a bumper, and didn't mean to do it too hard to him. I don't think I did, but it was just trying not to let Josh get away. And there at the end, when we were just logging laps down, we were literally logging the same laps. So it is what it is. I think I led 168 laps, so this is the best I've ever felt at Richmond before in a car. So it was exciting to actually feel competitive here. Richmond isn't really one of my better tracks, but I think after tonight, I think I figured some stuff out and feel really confident because I know we come back here later in the year. So excited about that. At least I know I can kind of compete at Richmond again. So congrats to Josh on the win. It was a long race. It was a fun race. I know it had been pretty exciting to watch out there. So hopefully we put on a good show.
It definitely was exciting. Plenty of action on the track. And then we kind of dialed in, we had some long green flag stints out there that were fun to watch and watch your strategy unfold. And really that's where I think we started to see the Ronnie Norman magic was over those average laps, just over the long stint. It just seemed like as soon as we get into the middle part of the stint, nobody could touch your speed out there. And you just seemed to find that rhythm out there. So, but talk us through what happened early on, with that Caudle incident. Did you feel like, once you managed to take over that lead that, hey, this might be my race after all? You took 2 stages, it had to feel pretty good to you, like maybe this might have been your night.
I believe Vincent did take stage 1 before he left, though, so I just got stage 2.
Oh, that's right. My apologies.
Yeah.
Yes, you're correct.
Yeah, no. So I just wanted to correct you on that one. I don't want to take anything away from Vincent. He's his own person. So, but no, on that first stage when we were running, I was trying my best to keep up with Vincent, and I felt really good. And then when we were running, I as I was trying to keep up with him, like I was gaining confidence in myself. Like, hey, like we might have a car tonight, boys. Like, let's see what we can do with it. And then like you said, whenever that caution came out and all that scuffle happened with Josh and all that, and they had to go to the back, like I was like, I already knew I could run fast. I was like, well, let's get out here and let's go, and let's get a distance in between us and then work on saving those right side tires. And I mean, from over talking to Josh about tires, when we're coming into pitting, like we were normally pretty good at saving. I was normally 80s on the right after a long run, and that's what you need here. So saving the right sides were definitely the way to go, definitely that right front. But no, I felt good in the long runs. I also had the early run speed as well, and you just got to try to take advantage of it when you got that, and that's what we tried to do here tonight.
Well, as you said, it was exciting tonight, good for the fans to watch. Nick Geilis checks in over on the YouTube chat, letting us know it was good short track racing tonight, or great short track racing tonight. We agree. Thanks, Nick, for checking in with us and for being a part of this show. But Ronnie, give us your thoughts towards next week, because that's really your bread and butter, the dirt racing, and you get a chance to take these next-gen cars out to Bristol Dirt. We heard Vincent Arthur, I believe it was, saying, I still don't know why they covered this track over in dirt, but either way, much to our viewing pleasure, we get a chance to watch this next week. What's your thoughts?
Well, luckily I get to race in the truck race to see kind of what it's going to be like. I kind of remember racing it a little bit last year, but I haven't raced it since last year, so I don't care to race on the dirt at Bristol. I mean, I'll do it because we have to. But no, I've raced dirt here and there on iRacing a little bit, but I'm not like a big let's go race dirt. But no, I don't mind getting out there and slinging it sideways and seeing what we can do. Hopefully in these next gen cars, it's not too bad. I don't think I've raced on dirt in the next gen, so I think I just raced the trucks last year. So now it'll be interesting. I'll probably have to run a little practice here later on this week just to kind of get the feel for it. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure. I think we have heat races in that race. I don't remember if we do or not, but it'll just be one of those, like, just go in and see what we can do. But that's why we got to capitalize on these other races like tonight and get good finishes, so that way if something does happen at Bristol, we ain't got to really worry too much about it. But luckily I already got that win, so that really helps out a lot too.
Absolutely. Well, either way, I'm sure you've got some thanks for tonight.
Yeah, I want to thank FanDuel for being on the car, McAllister Reynolds of Columbus, Indiana, Scott Oil. I want to appreciate you for broadcasting these races for us. I want to thank Josh for putting on a great league. Congrats to him again on winning. Congrats to John Caudle rounding out the top 3. Thanks to everybody watching, everybody, cheering me on in the chat. I know I got a couple out there, so just thanks to everybody. It's fun racing in this league and having some fun, and week in and week out. I mean, we're getting different winners. I mean, Josh flipped the weekend this week, so he just unfortunately he got by, and I couldn't do nothing about it. So just thanks to everybody, and we'll move on to next week and see what we can do.
Absolutely. Now, if you can manage to beat Josh on the dirt next week, I think that will be something else. So if you could set that benchmark for yourself, we'll all tune in and watch that one, see what you can do. Congratulations on a top finish here, Ronnie. Great job.
Thank you, Trevor.
That's Ronnie Norman checking in from second place for Flatline Motorsports. And now that will give us a chance to bring in the man of the evening, the number 25 from Flatline Motorsports. He got flatlined from behind from John Cottle early in the race. He got taken to the back of the pack, and he had to work his way not only from a lap down, but all the way back through the field. Josh, what a heck of a run back to the front. You managed to not only get there, but you had to beat your teammate to do so, Ronnie, and it was quite impressive. Congratulations, Josh. Hello, Josh.
You got me?
I got you now.
I think I'm having some kind of issue, but if you got me, I'll try. Yeah, thank you. Definitely stole that one, kind of like last night.
Yeah, exactly. What an amazing finish, and absolutely stealing the weekend here for NORA. Congratulations, Shades of Vincent Arthur a week ago. But managing to get up there, and again, I know you probably can't comment on it too much, but that had to have been quite a setback. You had already worked up into the lead there after Arthur had to pull off the track, and you worked up there into the lead, and then you head into turn 1 and you get tagged from behind. What was it like to try to battle your way back all race, and you had to get the lap back? It must have been a real struggle.
It definitely makes it tougher. I'll just call it how it is. I know a lot of people don't like racing around Cottle, thinking he's aggressive and stuff, but I haven't had an issue with him. Don't have an issue with him still. I mean, I kind of saw he locked up and just got into me, and no harm, no foul at that point. I tried to save it and got tagged, and at that point you're just kind of in recovery mode. I saved a set of tires and wasn't even paying attention to how many laps left in the stage, and lost the lap, and luckily was able to hold off, I think it was Cody at the time, to get the lucky dog back. And from then on, just like I said, kind of in somewhat of a conserve mode, trying to save the front, because the tire fall off was huge here. I mean, I think that last run we only ran 10, 15 laps. Ronnie and everybody else pitted, and we were way faster than Timmy. Like I said, that wasn't even really a long run. So just like I said, saving the tires, and I know right there if we would have had a late caution, I'd have pitted again, because I still had a set left from not taking the set earlier.
Well, and there you made that decision, and of course Harper and Engel deciding to stay out there with their tires, and that was the deciding factor. But Harper Motorsports splitting that decision with Cottle deciding to take tires, and obviously that was the right call there at the end. Josh, do you think that if Vincent had pulled over, you still think you would have had the car to beat him tonight?
I mean, again, I'll just call it how it is. Probably not. He's the class of the field week in and week out. Not quite on his level. I mean, depending on the track, sometimes I can potentially give him a run. And same for Ronnie. Ronnie was obviously quicker than me tonight. That's why, kind of like I said, definitely stole it from him tonight. But nah, here, Vince, this is one of those where Vince kind of has my number, and most of the time everybody's number, and you got to be perfect 110%. 100 wouldn't even be good enough. So nah, I think if he stuck around and didn't have issues, or I guess that's what he was saying, was he had car issues, but whatever happened there, I think it probably, like I said, would have been his race to lose.
Well, either way, pretty elite club that you have there at Flatline Motorsports. That includes Vincent Arthur, it includes Matthew George, who's running up there in the top 5 for a good chunk of the race. And of course includes Ronnie Norman, who finishes just behind you there tonight. But now you talk about maybe tracks that might be a good equalizer. Next week, Bristol Dirt. You're on dirt. You, Jason, doing what you love. What do you think? A chance to take it to everyone else, possibly steal one from Vincent? Hello.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think I'm having some sort of computer issue, but yeah, definitely next week for sure. I wouldn't be surprised too if Jason doesn't show up and try and steal one from the Cup guys too. And we look forward to this one. I know Ronnie should be rather good on dirt as well. So maybe Ronnie can steal some points back from Vincent, and we'll see. I mean, Matt needs some luck. He's normally a tire saving guy and comes up late in the runs, and normally he's got better tires than I do. So if we can kind of get through the dirt race and get back to mile and a halves and stuff like that, hopefully Matt can turn his season around. But no, we just have a good group. I mean, Vincent's been running for me for I think 2 or 3 years at this point now, actually, and I was lucky to bring Ronnie over from another team for this year, and it's been paying off. I mean, we've been 1, 2, 3 a couple times and consistently in the top 5. So obviously some luck is involved in that, but it feels good when you can run up front, and hopefully next week in the dirt I can help these boys out and keep us all up front.
Well, fabulous run. Who would you like to thank for tonight?
As always, you. I mean, I haven't watched the entire truck race back yet, but plan on doing that, and then obviously get time and watch back tonight. The guys that ran, I mean, Richmond's normally, I think I mentioned it last night, where it's normally one of our tougher races, just short track, and a lot of times people have too much wheel cranked into it off the corners and get back in the gas and just loop it. So a lot of times that causes some issues, but all in all, I think it was a 20 car field or so again, and for the most part, when it went green, it was fun. I mean, like I said, Ronnie and I are pretty much even going back and forth, and if Vince was stuck around, it would have made that one interesting too. But now, like I said, it was a good night. Cottle, it's always fun with Cottle and Brady and everybody. So hopefully next week isn't as bad as I'm expecting it to be.
Well, I think it'll be entertaining, if nothing else, and certainly you are each and every week, Josh, one of the great challengers here every single week out, and doesn't matter who's leading. If I see that Josh Conover number 25 Chevy for Flatline in the top 5, I think that there's a chance that he's going to make a challenge for the lead. Tonight, you took victory and solidified your sweep of the weekend. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week on the Bristol Dirt, my friend.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Hopefully, like I said, we'll Monday we'll obviously go for the win and kind of maybe not help the team out as much, because we're obviously trying to catch Brian Jones over there. But like I said, Tuesday I'll try and help Matt, and if Vince actually runs, I'm not sure if he's going to be there or not, but if he runs, help him out, and just whoever else needs help. Honestly, it's at the end of the day, obviously I want my guys to win and be up front, but I also don't mind helping people. I'd rather have 20 competitive people and have everybody comfortable in battle, and then myself and Jason just running away and making it not fun for everybody else. So I always tell people, if you have questions, feel free to ask. I'll help anybody. I don't care if you're, I know a lot of people take it so serious to have the manufacturer rivalry. I don't care if you're Toyota, Ford, whatever. I'll help anybody. So if anybody needs help, here it is. Come hit me up.
Well, there you go. The olive branch extended to anybody who wants to learn how to tackle that dirt track next week for one of the best in the iRacing biz. Josh Conover checking in with us. Good luck next week, my friend.
Thank you.
That is Josh Conover stealing victory here from his teammate Ronnie Norman. That was something else to watch, just to see him have to work his way back all the way through the field. And certainly he gave it his all here tonight, and it was unexpected to see him be able to take victory, but he took advantage of opportunity, took tires when he needed to, and Josh Conover emerges as your victor here tonight. So next week, as mentioned, we'll be having the NORA Truck and Cup Series here Monday night for NORA Trucks and Tuesday night for NORA Cup Series. Make sure to subscribe to VirtualRacing.Network. Hit that notification bell. You'll get notified of all of our upcoming races. On behalf of Josh Conover, Ronnie Norman, and John Cottle, your podium, as well as everyone else who ran here tonight and the rest of the admin staff. This is Trevor Greenfield signing off from the virtual Richmond Raceway, where Josh Conover earned the weekend sweep for the NORA Series. Until next time, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your week. So long.